shooting gas grenades at them, including with like, oh, what is it, hexachloroethane or something like that, which is meant to be used by the military for smoke screens, and is not used as a fucking crowd control, riot control, whatever you want to call it, agent, because it is a carcinogen, and they're just using it in the streets.
Run out there and be psychotic. They're the ones that are causing this to happen and making it even worse. They're the ones that are trying to
see. This is what I mean. This is the discourse you end up in if you start out with the "don't give them a pretext" discourse, because according to fucking Nazis like this guy, Tim Walz is giving them a pretext. And all he's literally done nothing here except say what happened. In actually a very mild description of what happened. There are much better words for what that I would use to describe it. But that is enough. That is already enough for this prick to make up a pretext. That is what we're up against, and that is why we can't give a fuck what they think.
Gas people up into thinking this is like Nazi Germany. And then you have all these people on social media that are like borderline, like mentally.
Yeah, Keith Porter, I think his name was. Yeah, exactly, in his home.
Ill. They're borderline mentally ill. And so you're trying to goad these people.
I love having my mental health commented on by fucking, by Asmongold, who is just,
being violent, and then use the violence as a reason for why you're right. That's it. That's what he's doing.
But the violence that he's talking about, like the violence that you're using as an example of why you're right, is the violence of this guy against an unarmed woman.
Sadly, Minnesota isn't a stop and ID state, which every state should be, in my opinion. I don't know about that. Isn't he under duress while making a speech? He should be. He's going to get arrested, I hope.
Why would he get listen to this. And the thing is, when he says this, Trump has announced, or Bondi, fucking Pam Bondage has announced that there is going to be a fucking investigation into Jacob Frey and Tim Walz, despite the fact that they have done everything to facilitate ICE in their area. They've had the cops out there. They have not ordered the cops to stand down. The cops have been helping out with have been attacking protesters and making sure ICE can just kind of do their thing. And the same thing with Waltz and the State Patrol. They did all of this to not give them a pretext or whatever, and it doesn't fucking matter. They're all...
I think they should arrest him.
Arrest him for what?
Causing a civil war between the state and the feds. He does.
If it's a civil war, there's only one side shooting.
Yes. And I think they need to, I've said this before, they need to charge this guy for sedition.
Again, all he's done is say what happened at this point.
They need to arrest this guy, put him in jail, and charge him for sedition. Same with that mayor of Minneapolis. They need to arrest both of them and put them up on the most extreme charges possible.
This is what we're up against, and people are talking about, don't take the bait. People who listen to this guy, people who believe what he says, which I don't think anyone genuinely does. I think they all know he's full of shit. They just don't care because it justifies the things they want to do, and that is what this is about. It's about motivated reasoning. Very, very motivated. They don't give a shit.
Conducting an impartial investigation so we can hold accountable the officer responsible for Renee's death. The Trump administration is devoting the full power of the federal government.
Let's have.
We have the footage. We have the witnesses. We have the name of the guy who did it. The only thing that an investigation would be really necessary for is to identify the guys who were with him and got in the way of providing medical assistance to Renee Good. Other than that, the case against fucking Jonathan Ross is airtight if they wanted it.
have the Minnesota government investigate this, like they investigated all the Somali fraud.
They're living in a different universe, a universe where there is no Somali fraud. This is all made up. This is all this creepy fucking Nazi fuck who calls himself a documentarian rocked up to these daycares and demanded to be provided with children, and said that there must be a fraud because everybody refused. And now it's just a fact. That is enough to say that it's a fact that there's this Somali fraud going on. These people, if they need a pretext, they just make the shit up.
That you have had multiple whistleblowers, even on your own party, come out and expose you for trying to suppress. Yeah, let's go ahead and have that happen. That's a great idea.
I mean, he's just making this stuff
Brilliant. Really smart.
To finding an excuse to attack the victim and her family. Just yesterday, 6 federal prosecutors, including the longtime career prosecutor leading the charge to investigate and eliminate fraud in our state's programs, quit their jobs.
Yeah. I mean, leaving aside the ableism, I mean, I just don't get the idea that this guy is necessarily... I mean, there are people...
So...
Nah, I'm not going to say
Wait a minute, let me listen to this again.
Federal prosecutor to attack the victim.
Yeah, that's right, the feds, the people, the prosecutors in the federal government, the ones who work for the U.S. Department of Justice and Pam Bondage, they quit in protest.
And her family. Just yesterday, 6 federal prosecutors, including...
Like, why does he look like somebody's about to give him some fish food?
The longtime career prosecutor leading the charge to investigate and eliminate fraud in our state's programs, quit their jobs.
Why?
Rather than go along with this assault on the United States Constitution.
So they quit their job? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. They quit their job over the thing that you think is so great, actually.
But as bad as it's been, Donald Trump intends for it to get worse.
It's going to get a lot worse.
I mean, again, just no need for a pretext, because they got guys like this, they'll say whatever.
I hope so. This should only be the beginning. It should get 1,000 times worse than this.
I mean, they can't get 1,000 times worse than this because they don't have enough people.
100%. They're conflating judicial and executive powers by saying there's no due process when there is a deportation. Yeah, of course.
I mean, no, they're not. That's not how that works, because actually due process is something you're entitled to from all branches of the government. That is not just a judicial thing. In administrative proceedings, you're also entitled to due process. And immigration is an administrative proceeding, and technically you're entitled to due process, but you don't get it. You don't get it. I mean, immigration law is just Kafkaesque. It is an absolute monstrosity.
Yeah. There was no due process with getting a lot of these people into the country, and this was.
Wait, you're saying that they were brought into this country against their will? That's not what due process is.
It was always the strategy that these people had, is that create an untenable situation by allowing people to mass import into the country.
Why is that untenable, ass?
And then try to exercise every single legal proceeding to remove them.
So, what's the untenable situation? The fact that, I mean, even in his retelling, it sounds like the trying to get rid of people is the untenable thing.
Basically, ignore all the rules to bring them in, and then force all the rules
to
get
them in. Who's bringing them in? They came in. And overwhelmingly, they came in according to the fucking rules.
Get them out. It's so obvious what's happening.
I mean, it is obvious what's happening. I mean, that much is true.
Yeah, it should get a lot worse.
This week, he went online to promise that, quote, the day of retribution and reckoning is coming.
Retribution for what exactly? Reckoning for what? Like, he's the one who's doing murders. Like, if there's reckoning and retribution, I mean, he's the one who needs to experience it, you'd think. So again, where's the pretext? We didn't need to give him a pretext to say that. He just fucking says that. And assholes like this will be like, well, yeah, you know, there's gotta be retribution and reckoning, you know, for the stuff. The stuff that they're doing. I gotta make it up real quick. Hang on. We're gonna do an ad break. I gotta figure out what the stuff is gonna be.
God. Thank God. We need to put this guy in jail, charge him for sedition.
He doesn't know what sedition is.
Absolutely.
But I mean, who gives a shit?
Absolutely. And honestly, the only thing that's making
Does this guy Odacomb
me mad is the fact that Trump hasn't done it. He hasn't done it. Yes, okay, great. You're finally going to do something.
You know, I mean, like, do what exactly?
I've been waiting on this for how long? Don't say it, actually do it. Yeah, like, you want retribution. I do.
Retribution for what? What the...
Too, this is ridiculous. And there are...
Okay, have a good night. I hope tomorrow's a better day for you.
More people that are dying because of Tim Walz. Keep in mind...
Yeah, like who, for example? Hello, Eve Singularity. I mean, he is just an example of what we are actually up against, and why this idea that giving them a pretext means absolutely nothing. I mean, because the people that we're dealing with will say whatever the fuck they want. They will say what they will say the things that they think will justify the things they're going to do anyway. And guys like this will pretend to believe them. Although, I mean, an asshole like Asmongold, I mean, for all I know, probably does actually convince himself of this stuff. Fuck knows what he actually believes. I don't even particularly care.
None of this stuff happens in Florida. It doesn't
I mean, yes, it does.
Happen in Texas. And
yes, it does. Actually, worse shit happens in Texas.
You know why? It's because the state police cooperate with ICE.
I mean, the state police in Minnesota are cooperating with ICE. The Minneapolis police are cooperating with ICE. They're both cooperating with ICE.
And they make it clear that you're not able to impede their investigations. And there are none of these crash outs that happen.
Crash outs? Who crashed out, ass?
Even though comparatively, there are a lot of people in every state that voted for Kamala Harris. It's not like...
It's not about that. Nobody gives it... Like, she was going to increase ICE funding, too. Her whole thing on immigration was that Trump was too soft on immigrants. For fuck's sake. Like, this has nothing to do with that. Nobody gives a shit about her. We've all forgotten her.
Like, most states are not anything more extreme than 70-30. So that means at a very minimum level, 30% of the activated voters in that state probably voted for the opposing candidate. But even then, you don't have those people out there on the street causing problems.
Well, maybe that's because they're not actually... there's nothing... They don't have... The thing is, ICE, again, is a very small agency. They got 6,000 people, basically, roughly, for the entire country. So they can't do a Minneapolis level attack in multiple places at once. So they're not, and so far they've only been doing them in certain places.
And the reason why is because you have the state police that reinforces the federal police, and
there's no such thing as the federal police. This is not Australia.
Don't try to act in opposition to the federal police.
Again, they're not the federal police. That is not a thing that exists in the U.S. Even the FBI is not actually the federal police. They have actually a narrower jurisdiction than that.
And usurp the United States. That's it. They didn't quit. They were fired.
No, they fucking resigned.
Know what happened?
That's a direct threat against the people of this state, who dared to vote against him 3 times, and who continue to stand up for freedom.
Who dared to vote against him?
With courage and empathy and profound grace. All across Minnesota, people are stepping up to help their neighbors
And no thanks to you, Tim.
who are
Profound. Wait, what was this here?
grace for freedom with courage and empathy and profound grace. All across Minnesota, people are stepping up to help their neighbors who are being unjustly and unlawfully targeted.
For sure.
They're distributing
I can
care
see that.
packages.
Well, they're damaged cars. I mean, obviously, it's fucking Black Hawk Down. Some cars got damaged.
And walking kids to school
Yeah.
and raising their voices in peaceful protest. Even
Raising their voices, they're blowing whistles, driving cars,
Yeah, wow, they're driving cars. They're blowing whistles and driving cars.
assaulting officers,
I mean, no, they're not.
hitting things, setting everything on fire,
No, they're not. I mean, what have they set on fire?
stealing guns out of federal law enforcement
I mean, based if it happened, but I haven't heard any proof of that. Just Nazis claiming it happened.
buildings or cars, and they're destroying everything. Like, what are you talking about?
Destroying what? Destroying what? I mean, some people damaged some cars after another shooting by your boys.
Peaceful. Like, yeah, obviously some of them are peaceful, some of them are not. Duh. Look at the voting map, red and blue.
Yeah, I mean, who gives a shit?
Oh yeah, no, I understand that.
Even his fucking chat does not think he actually comprehends what's going on.
The Democrats tried to arrest Trump for inciting violence when he told the crowd to stay peaceful. I don't understand how Tim isn't arrested
I mean, he did not tell the crowd to stay peaceful.
for actually inciting violence. It's because the Republicans are pussies. That's the reason why.
See, again, I mean, he's just it's fucking world building. That's what these people do. And that's why we can't give a fuck about giving them a pretext, because if we don't, they will make one up and do it anyway.
You need to understand that is that the Republicans are operating under some false premise that
They are operating under some false premises. I'll give you that.
if we do this to them, they're going to do it to us. No, if you don't do it to them, they're going to do it to you because they're going to be able to.
And when have they ever done it to them? Like, when have they ever done it to them? Like, when have these motherfuckers ever been held accountable in any meaningful way?
Your goal should be to incapacitate them so they can't do it to you. This should be proactive.
Even though doing so has made many of our fellow Minnesotans targets
Yeah.
for violent retribution. Folks, I know it's scary, and I know it's absurd that
It's
we
going to get a
all
lot worse.
have to be defending
And
law
he's
and
fucking grinning as he says it.
order, justice, and humanity.
Law and order. You mean like the law that you can't be an illegal alien in the country? And the ICE can come and get you and remove you?
I mean, yeah, fuck that law, actually. Fuck that law. I agree, fuck that law. That's a bullshit law. We shouldn't have that law. I mean, this reminds me of something I was saying, that this right-wing think tank that has the ear of, like, the Democratic Party leadership, called the Third Way, published this thing saying, you know, the danger of the demand to abolish ICE is that it could be taken to mean abolish immigration enforcement. Let me find the exact words a second. Give me a moment. So I had it here. Okay, here it is. Advocating for abolishing ICE is tantamount to advocating for stopping enforcement of all our immigration laws in the interior of the United States. Yeah, that's right. And we ought to be saying, yeah, good. That's exactly what should happen. I mean, most people in this country have never heard the case be made for that. They just take it for granted that, like, deportation cops are just something you have. I mean, and they've never actually heard anyone argue against having this sort of thing. And so they don't really give it that kind of thought. And so the idea here, what these right-wing think tank assholes are trying to do, is make it so people go, oh no, we don't mean that. We don't mean, like, get rid of immigration restrictions and get rid of, like, deportations. And, yeah, no, fuck you. We do mean get rid of deportations. We do mean get rid of immigration restrictions. I don't give a shit. None of us should give a shit what kind of legal status our neighbors have. It makes absolutely no fucking difference to us. All I care about, all any of us should care about, is that those laws create a situation where a lot of people in our communities are living an inherently precarious existence that is just horrible for them, because these laws are Kafkaesque and unpredictable, so it is just always precarious no matter what your status is. But it's also bad for us because that precariousness, because that disposability means that they can that their status can be used to push down all our wages. So, I mean, there are multiple very good reasons to just be getting rid of this shit, and there's really no good reason not to. Hello, Adam.
This is the thing, is that all they do is they just go up there and they lie.
I mean, what is it you're doing, ass?
They're just going up there and saying things that are not true.
Motherfucker. Like, what... This motherfucker's talking about going up and saying things that are not true.
It's very obvious that the federal government has the authority to deport illegal aliens. Everybody...
Yeah, they're grabbing... Okay, even assuming that they should have that authority, and they should not, actually. They absolutely should not. There is nothing good that comes from that. It is a horrible thing. And there's no such thing as humane deportation. That doesn't exist. It isn't humane. You're ripping people out of their lives. You're basically ruining their lives. And for what? Because their paperwork isn't in order. Who gives a fuck? But actually, I mean, they're just kind of grabbing anyone. I mean, there are 3 Oglala Sioux community members who are currently being held hostage by ICE or CBP in Minnesota, whereabouts unknown. ICE is saying they will not actually provide information about the whereabouts of these people without, unless ICE is allowed to raid Oglala Sioux tribal land, which they refuse to do. I mean, like, they are literally people who have been in the family been in the country since before this country even fucking existed. People who could trace their families back like 10,000 years in this country are also being attacked, also being picked up. People who have been like fucking born and bred here are being grabbed. They don't give a fuck. But we shouldn't give a fuck about that distinction either, though. Because even the people whose papers aren't in order should not be facing this shit.
Knows this, but they're pretending into this lie for no reason.
Which lie? Which thing are you saying isn't true?
Over 1.5 million Minnesotans voted for Trump? Yeah, of course.
While also caring for our families and trying to do our jobs. So tonight, let me say once again to Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, end this occupation. You've done enough.
Okay. I'm going to switch over. There was something else. There were a couple of things I wanted to... First of all, there's a video I just want to very highly recommend. I'm not going to look at it because we've only got a little while left, and there's something else I wanted to look at. But it is another one. We looked at something called Gaza is the Compass by Rev and Rev last week. That was really good. Like a discussion of strategy and what should be done, and it was excellent. His stuff pretty much always is. This is one from a couple of years ago called ID PsyOps, and it is about counterinsurgency propaganda specifically, and I think it is worth sharing around and watching and showing people, because it is an excellent discussion of how it works and modern techniques, and we are seeing a lot of that shit. Now, what I wanted to show you
Last week I posted a video about
Okay, get this up. This is a Rebecca Watson video, and she has occasionally done some very good stuff. And this one is particularly good, and there's some. There are a couple of things I just want to show you. For one thing, just on our theme of they don't need a pretext, and don't necessarily think that the Nazi comments that you're wanting to respond to come from an actual organic creature. But also, I want to show you, there's just a beautiful example of the power of community that she shows in here. And so we're just going to have a little bit of a look at it in the last, 20-odd minutes.
anti-trans bias at the British Broadcasting Corporation, who had just pushed a 16-year veteran host to resign due in part to his support for trans people that he has expressed in his private life. This comment, posted shortly after my video went live, caught my eye. At BF Thoughts wrote, "In this video, it seems obvious why an officer could fear she was going to run into him with her vehicle. Wow, I hadn't seen this angle. He had a reason to feel threatened. It is done." That comment clearly is not about the BBC pressuring a radio host to resign over his remarks supporting trans people. If you're watching this video at a much later date or from another dimension, that comment is quite clearly referencing the recent murder of Renee Nicole Good, a 37-year-old woman who was gunned down in cold blood by American Gestapo agent Jonathan Ross in Minneapolis as she was legally observing the unconstitutional actions of ICE shortly after she dropped off her child at daycare.
Okay, so...
Write a video. BF Thoughts wrote this comment. I hadn't even begun to write a video on Ross murdering Good. It's clear then that this comment was posted as a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. There is a lot, we can be fairly certain that there is a lot of this. Especially when you look at the polls, it's very clear most people hate ICE at this point. So when you start to see masses of comments justifying whatever the fuck these pricks are doing, you can be pretty sure that there's something inauthentic happening.
A bot mistake. As of this recording, it appears as though BF Thoughts has realized the mistake and deleted that comment, replacing it with a completely unintelligible but fairly standard transphobic comment about how it's lesbophobic to suggest that trans women should be able to compete in sports with cis women.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I mean lesbians, the only kind of woman who plays sports.
In this context, I can't help... whenever I hear the Zulu word for football, Ibola lesinyawo, my brain wants to turn it into Ibola lesbiano.
I didn't mention anything about trans women in sports.
See, because I get to make that joke
in that video, but I mean, hey, at least the little clanker's new comment was somewhere in the same general universe as the topic of the video that the comment was left on. I begin this video with that story because I think it's important that you understand immediately that the discourse you see online about...
I thought I saw somebody with... Oh, wait, maybe you... Okay. Hang on. I thought I'd seen somebody with a different username in here. Or maybe I just misread it earlier. No, that's... Oh, well, okay, yes, you did, in fact, never leave.
This and other...
I thought you were two people. Sorry.
Headline-grabbing topics is artificial. There are probably, by this point in this very video, just a minute or two after it goes live, already comments saying inflammatory things like what BF Thoughts had to say.
Yeah.
You can reply to them to debunk them if you want. You can ignore them, but
my own personal policy is I will give one reply in such situations just so third parties reading it don't think it goes that it goes unchallenged.
I'm going to advise you to not waste your time engaging in a back and forth argument with them. That is probably not worth it. And you know I'm serious about that because I'm the uploader of the video. I get more money the more these bots go back and forth with you or each other. It's still not worth it. I'll back up for a bit. Here, a picture of what's...
Okay. So, I mean, that just strikes me as a very important point here. Just the fact that there is a lot, I mean, especially when it comes to, like, the far right, but also when it comes to, like, liberal slop as well. Oh, that's weird. Neither of, for some reason, like, is my... like, my two comments where I linked to videos in chat did not apparently go through to YouTube. If you're on YouTube, could you tell me if you saw those last two links?
Going on here from the mainstream news. ICE refers to Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They are essentially the Gestapo of the Trump administration. They descend on him,
which is a bit imprecise because the thing I know about the Gestapo is that they were a plainclothes force. They were the guys in the trench coats and the slouch hats. Oh well, links generally go through when you're the streamer. I've never had that issue before.
American cities wearing masks with no identifying information.
And their main cause of death is COVID, which is how you know they are deliberately choosing masks that will not protect themselves or others from infection.
Often not even badges signifying the branch of law enforcement they're representing.
Or whether they are in fact representing any law enforcement at all. And that is an important point. Because just because somebody rocks up in a fucking Walmart snacktickle vest and starts like ordering you around and pointing guns at you, that does not mean they have any legal standing. And if they don't have any legal standing, then you certainly have every legal right to defend yourself by all means necessary. There is absolutely no question about that. I mean, the model penal code, it's worth noting, which is adopted in a number of U.S. jurisdictions and is certainly a mainstream legal source, actually says that like deadly force is justifiable in self-defense against such offenses as kidnapping.
And they violently abuse U.S. citizens in the name of finding and apprehending and abusing and disappearing undocumented immigrants. Last week, a patron from the EU let me know that they have absolutely no idea that any of this is happening, despite the fact that I've been talking about it for the past year, warning about it for much longer. And because of that, I just really want you to know that this has been happening for many months now in Los Angeles and Portland. Briefly back in October, they were here in the Bay Area, but I'm pretty sure our politicians are chummy enough with the theocrats that the Gestapo was redirected elsewhere pretty.
Plus the thing, somebody pointed this out, I think on Twitter, and it was a very good point. The thing about LA, the thing about New York, the thing about the Bay Area, possible gunshot wounds, fuck off. The thing about like New York City, I mean even like Philly, is these cities are so large that it is hard for as small a force as ICE to manage to have the kind of presence that they can manage in a place like a place like Minneapolis. It is just reflexive. Journalists reflexively make it just try to present the police narrative as if it has merit, even when it clearly hasn't.
Quickly. I also need you to know that we are not just sitting back and letting it happen. People have been in the streets, not just protesting at big events like the No Kings rallies, but doing real community organizing to protect one another. People have been passing out flyers with information on what our rights are regarding ICE, giving contact information for pro bono legal advice.
And, I mean, it seems to me at this point, I mean, it's not a bad thing to be sharing Know Your Rights information as long as it's accurate. Oh, good. Thank you, Riveroon. Good to hear it. I was gonna repost them. But, like, what we really need more than Know Your Rights is Know Your Enemy. We need stuff on what sort of tactics they've been using in a particular area. What seems to make them go away. You know, stuff about identifying their vehicles and that kind of shit. Because the thing is, they don't actually give a shit about, like, the law at this point. They are acting completely without any regard to any actual statutory limits. They're just doing whatever the fuck they want. And it's pretty clear that they have been given very broad orders that countenance all the shit they've been doing, because if they were doing things that their bosses didn't like, we would see some evidence of their bosses disciplining them and stopping them. So, I mean, we need to be just very clear that the emphasis has to be on getting them out of our communities and ensuring that the fewest possible people fall into their clutches. Because one thing that is very clear, and we've known this for a very long time, it is way easier to keep somebody out of their hands than to free them once they're in them.
To immigrants. They're 3D printing whistles and spreading codes about those whistles so that neighbors will know if and when ICE is on their streets and if and when they...
Personally, though I suppose it's not entirely practical, I mean, I've been hearing the whistles, and what I've been thinking about, I mean, this will not surprise anyone, because I imagine I'm probably not the only one who has this thought. I'm thinking about Andor. I'm thinking about the funeral scene at the end of Season 1, and the actually very disconcerting way that their version of whistles was like banging on metal and making a rhythmic metal banging sound that just spread until, you know, it was hundreds and thousands of individual metal banging sounds. And it seems to me, in terms of something that is way more disconcerting to the invader, there is a lot to be said for that, but of course, figuring out how to actually do that, it's probably easier to do whistles.
Or apprehending someone. Every day, people have been putting their...
I mean, and this is the wild thing, because, like, I mean, I don't pay enough attention to Asmongold to know this for sure. But I would imagine, I mean, you know, influencer dickhead probably pays attention to pop culture. Doesn't, I mean, he kind of lives under a rock, but not so much that he hasn't watched Andor. And I would imagine he was excited and cheered for the same people in the same scenes that everybody else did. And then he's sitting here, like, fucking justifying the Empire.
On the line to protect each other, with U.S. citizens physically stopping the Gestapo from disappearing people off the street, out of workplaces, while they're delivering their DoorDash.
Okay, this is a big part. This video is a big part of why I wanted to show you this to close out. I had seen the first part of this. It is a longer video. I had not realized that until I watched Rebecca Watson's video. This is, you may remember it, a woman had ordered a DoorDash, and the driver ran into her house because the fucking goons were after her. And they stood on her door, and like it just maintained a very threatening posture.
Break the door down.
That's
And listen to her now. We're hearing her. She's the one filming this.
fine, but I don't want to open the door if they don't have a warrant. Because this was my DoorDash lady. I don't even know the lady. She just ran to my house.
All right.
I have a baby here. Like, I really don't know what to do. I'll open the door if the police, say that I have to open the door, but like, I don't know what to do. This lady just was shot yesterday. Now I ordered fucking food and there's people outside my fucking house.
I mean, okay. And the reason it's important to hear this is because, yeah, the thing is, she shows later on in this video the how the further development, and the further development is why I'm showing this. We have to hear her panicking in order to fully appreciate the value of what I'm trying to show.
And I'm on my way, okay? All
What
right.
do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I'm so scared. James, come downstairs.
Try.
What? I literally ordered DoorDash and now there's ICE agents around my house because the lady ran in my house and I don't know what to do because I don't know. They have no warrant. They have no warrant. They said that they were gonna get one.
And now they're standing around like fucking vampires. Like
I
worse
don't
dressed straight vampires.
Know what to do. I called the police. The police are on their way. I can't ignore it. I have a baby here and they have guns pointing everywhere in my house.
Yeah, I mean, all these people telling her, hey, to like, calm down, ignore it, and all this shit. I mean, this is the sort of assistance you get when you try to ask help from the authorities. And this is why, actually, I mean, I occasionally see this advice, call the cops. And it's like, no, because you don't know what the cops are going to fucking do. You don't have, I mean, they're going to do whatever they've been told to do, and that may not be something that you want them to do. That may not be something that's compatible with everybody that you care about getting out of this thing unharmed.
Some random lady in my house. I have my child barricaded.
They're looking in her backyard, too.
They're looking at everything.
Oh, I mean, which, like, very clearly trespass.
People have been comforting the children left behind, finding contact information for the people who are being disappeared, returning their empty cars to their families and letting them know how to begin finding their fathers, mothers, cousins, kids.
I mean, and let me just say, I mean, we talk perennially about general strikes and the importance of, like, having one for the first time, really, since 1946. So there were a couple of attempts around, in Oakland in particular. But, like, the way you build up the sort of social infrastructure to be able to have that kind of an action is the stuff that she's talking about right there. The only way you can actually, because, you do a strike, first of all, that's like everybody's losing a bunch of income. I mean, yeah, the bosses lose income, but we're losing income too. And there's also the issue of repression. And the only way we can make it through that is if we've all got each other's backs. And what we're seeing here is a level of actually, like, social cohesion and people having each other's backs in these communities that I wouldn't necessarily have expected, having lived in this country most of my life. Like, that is the sort of cohesion, that is the sort of mutual support, that is the sort of, like, courageous mutual aid that could sustain a general strike, or at the very least is approaching that level. The more of that we have, the closer we are to being able to do the kind of shit we need to be able to do. I mean, we need to develop other capabilities too, but if we don't have that infrastructure of mutual support, it's not going to work.
And they've been pulling out their phones and recording what the Gestapo would prefer to do in secret. That's what Renee Nicole Good... Rebecca here.
Okay, now here we go. This is a little bit later, and this is the part I wanted to show. I mean, and it fits in very well with what I was just talking about people having each other's back.
As I was editing this video, I went to find that clip of the DoorDash driver who was being targeted by ICE hiding inside someone's house. And for the first time, I had only seen a short clip. For the first time, I watched the entire thing. And it actually brought me to tears.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, how could it not really? Because, like, she's panicking, and it's, like, you fucking would. Because you have these assholes out on your, out in front of your house with their guns and shit. And you have this woman who is also absolutely shit scared. And she's just some random person, and she needs to be able to, like, get on with her life, too. But she's, like, stuck in your house, and you're not gonna let her out, because then the fucking goons grab her, and fuck knows what happens to her then. So what the fuck do you do?
I'd love to show you the whole thing, but it is over 10 minutes long, but I suggest you go watch it, because it actually illustrates part of my larger point here about why do they use these bots? And I'm sorry if this is a little disjointed. I'm just speaking off the cuff here. As I mentioned, they use the bots to give people a false sense of the idea that a lot of other people are on their side.
Yeah, I mean, and the whole fucking right-wing bullshitosphere joins in that. That's why, like, people like Tim Pool and Asmongold and the rest of them act like far-right views are just the normal things, are just, are just normal views to have. Like, that's, like, they're the normal people, that they're the majority or something like that. And they tell these people who watch nothing but this far-right bullshit that that's the case, and they start to thinking that they're actually the ones who have, like, the majority view. And it goes very badly for them when they get out into the society and they realize everybody hates them and thinks they're
in believing this
fucking
obvious
freaks.
lie. And in this video of the woman who is protecting her DoorDash driver, she starts out really scared, obviously. ICE agents are at her door with guns drawn, and she has a child in the home. She doesn't know what to do, so she calls the police, and the police tell her that there's really nothing she can do, even though
I mean, like, this is literally trespassing. If the cops actually had orders to move these people along when they're acting illegally, like, there's no justification for that. There is no, like, legal justification for what they're doing here. Then this would be much less of a problem. But instead, these, like, politicians, they like to pretend to be powerless, but they never actually attempt to do anything. Like, they just say they can't, or they just don't, and then say, oh, well, I mean, I'm just gonna say, get the fuck out. There, I used a cuss word. Wow, I mean, he said fuck. If he says fuck 3 times, they have to go away, you know.
The ICE agents don't have a warrant. They tell her basically they're gonna come in there anyway. The ICE agents tell, I don't know if it's her partner in the video, but they tell him, literally they say, waiting this out is only gonna make it worse.
Yeah, I mean, again, like vampire shit. It's interesting because here they clearly are following some kind of rules of engagement. Because they're not just breaking in. They have done that in other cases. Here, they're trying to manipulate and threaten her and cajole her into opening her door to them by saying shit like that. Like, why is it going to be worse, dude? Like, she isn't doing anything, first of all, she's not doing anything wrong, not doing anything illegal, and nothing under their jurisdiction. Like, literally the only people this is going to be worse for are the dickheads who have to stand outside here until it's over.
You don't even know her.
It's gonna get worse, dude. You don't even know her.
Can I just get a warrant? I just want a warrant, man. I got my child in here. This shit happened yesterday and
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. Fuck you. Yes, something happened.
It's gonna get worse. Our SWAT team's gonna come. You have an active warrant for this person. What do you make?
They don't, I mean, they literally don't have an active warrant. That's a lie that he's telling them, because the person in question is a U.S. citizen.
Good work.
And so finally, this couple, they reach their breaking point. They feel completely overwhelmed. They are ready to give up, and they go and they get the DoorDash driver and they bring her to the door, and she is in tears. And this is where I started crying. I actually had to wait a little bit to record this because it made me cry too. Because the DoorDash driver is also terrified. She says she's a citizen, but she knows, I mean, that doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter anymore. She is Hispanic. And they're ready to give this woman to the ICE agents because they don't think they have any other choice. But
something happens. I'm going to skip ahead.
Her armor and their big guns here to take this crime.
Because they don't. Because these goons don't give a shit. They are documented. They have grabbed something like 200 citizens that we know of. I mean, some of them have been dragged off to concentration camps halfway across the country and have been stuck there for months, even though proof of citizenship was produced on day one. Like, the real question isn't why would she be this scared, it's why would these motherfuckers be trying to go after her when they have no jurisdiction over her. Like, these people don't give a fuck.
Terrified woman away, and the neighbors now have gathered, and you can hear the whistles blowing.
Because y'all pieces of shit.
Yeah, okay, so
you don't even have a fucking
and you can hear the whistles blowing.
Now, just listen to the change in this woman. Listen to the change in this woman. And look at these guys, they're already fucking backing up. They're already retreating. This woman has, this is a changed woman, and it's entirely because the neighbors have shown up. Listen to this.
That way. You don't even have a fucking warrant. But I'm not gonna go to fucking jail because y'all pieces of shit ain't got nothing better to do because your wife still wanna suck your fucking dick.
Yeah, like, I mean, she's not, like, hiding behind the door at this point. She's not, you know, she's just screaming at these assholes, and they are moving away already. And the whistles are just getting louder.
Fucking puta! Pendejo!
And that community, along with the community that the woman filming has online on TikTok, she announces, she says, all these people are watching on social media, intimidating the ICE. Hope was lost for that. The string fuck off my lawn.
What the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Yeah, you can hear the whistles. Now other people are showing up to film, and I mean, this has totally changed the whole dynamic. Suddenly, she feels confident to tell these guys to get the fuck out.
You guys are
This is what we have to understand. This is a transformation, and it's a transformation that I think probably a lot of us have experienced in our own lives. It comes from knowing people have your back. There is a big difference between facing these assholes when it's just you and them, and facing these assholes when it's you, them, and your entire fucking neighborhood.
Nazis! My fucking family got killed! Native Americans got killed for you guys to put on that fucking shit! Bullshit!
Okay, and it is time for me to wrap up. I'm just gonna drop this link in chat again for anyone who missed it. Definitely worth watching the whole thing. So if you take anything away from this today, there are a couple of things. One, they don't need a pretext. We shouldn't worry about giving them a pretext because they'll just make the shit up. And the other big one is this infrastructure of community support is essential to everything we need to be able to do. And there's way more of it than I think a lot of us, certainly I, would have realized before this. this level of like the reason this is happening, the reason these guys don't want to go to Minneapolis is because these communities fucking have each other's back. That's, I mean, and that's the good stuff. Have a good night. I will be back at 11:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time tomorrow night for more